we wanted to take this time to, again, in the spirit of sharing, not as a vendor, but in the spirit of sharing our experience and taking something out of it from you all. We want to talk about how a product like Beezy thinks about operating in a platform. We are a product that only works in the Microsoft platform. We think that the Microsoft platform is the best place and the best platform out there in the market to do a product like Beezy. But part of our job is to enhance the platform and cover some of the gaps that we see in the platform. And this is a moving target. This is something that is ever changing in our product. But the big type of gaps are kind of the same or have been the same for the last 5-10 years, I would say. Platforms are by definition complex, not only to end users, but also to just configure them. And SharePoint and Office 365 will require quite some work to get it up and running, and to especially to meet the needs of corporate communication at scale that we call. The type of customers that we have in Beezy are normally large organizations, and they will have this necessity to really tailor the platform to their specific needs. There is another thing that is kind of a gap in the platform, which is it's related to governance. We will go to that in a minute. But from the end user perspective is how to balance the push versus pull, how to allow users to decide what they want to see in combination with enforcing or making sure that they don't miss on important information that the corporation or the company wants to push. The social, it's kind of a recurrent one. We started Beezy a long time ago, only in SharePoint, and social was a big pain point. Today, the platform and Microsoft has done a lot. There is Yammer, there is Teams, there is more products out there that ensure this social part, but it's still kind of disconnected. If you are commenting on a SharePoint news today, it will be somehow in a siloed system, not in Yammer, not in Teams. So this is kind of a recurrent pain point. User experience, of course, it has been a user experience gap in the past. I would say that Microsoft have done a very good job. I'm a designer myself, so I recognize the job that Microsoft has been doing, especially in SharePoint, around user experience. But again, this is a platform, so there will always be some kind of gap to fill in the platform. Maybe in the mobile today it's more prominent. But I wanted to jump into the governance gap to just show you how we think about the platform, how we cover one of these gaps in the platform around governance, give you an example just to spark conversations later on today. So if we illustrate this way of bridging the gaps in the platform, which is the example of audiences and governance, here's Microsoft take or SharePoint take about audiences in news. This is a screenshot from SharePoint when an editor or a content creator is deciding how to configure their news article. And you can see that the audience is a selector right there. Right there, the content creator can select the audience, and the audience will be picking up SharePoint groups or Office 365 groups or AD groups, etc. So we challenge a bit this when communication is really at scale.
It's the question we asked you yesterday, same today.
Sorry, there's someone speaking. I can hear someone.
Oh yeah, no fever, no.
Okay.
No, he's good.
Set to go.
Okay.
All
right, thank you.
Have a conversation.
Yeah.
Sky, can you kill mics, please?
Okay.
All right, much better. So we think that it's putting the power maybe in the wrong hands. Again, not always and not at all the scales, but the fact that writers are deciding who is the audience skews things a bit in the sense of writers will always think that their content is the most important, right? So it's very, very easy to fall in this logic where writers are deciding how prominent the content is for the readers, and the readers cannot really escape that logic with no easy mechanisms of personalizing the feed. What we do instead is to apply a couple more governance layers. So we do have writers, we do have readers, but we have editors and admin on top of it. And we try to split responsibilities and split kind of domain expertise to ensure that the system will be perfectly oiled. So we add layers of governance to find a good balance between unique content, specific audiences, and effective delivery. This is a screenshot of our settings on the audience side of things, and admins and only admins will set up audiences. They are the guys knowing AD groups and all this complex IT stuff, the user profile properties. They can combine many things, and the output of this will be an audience. The editors will use the audiences. So when they are creating a news channel, they will simply connect channels to specific audiences if they want to enforce this content, if they want to go the push logic. But they don't need to see or operate the complex IT stuff, meaning AD groups, Office 365 groups, that's hidden to them. The writers on their side, they will be focusing exclusively on creating great content. And we have a very nice user interface, very modern user interface to create content without the necessity of deciding who will be receiving this content more prominently. So they trust the system, they trust the other two layers. And finally, we have the readers that will get relevant content in front of their eyes because the system works. And if the system doesn't work, by the way, also in the mobile world, so this is a screenshot of the desktop experience with what we call the hero component here, and this is the mobile app. And if the system, for whatever reason, is not tailoring or taking into account their specific necessities that, by the way, might be changing and ever evolving, they can easily tweak the flow of information and decide to follow different channels or other channels as well. So with that, I hope we illustrated how we think about operating in a platform, how enhancing a platform, and we would like to also have a very dear customer to share his experience with you.
Maximo, Duncan here. I'm one of the directors at Beezy. So to help bring this topic to life, we are now joined by one of Beezy's customers from Finning International. Alicia, would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Finning and the Traction initiative?
Sure. Thanks, Duncan. So my name is Alicia McCallum. I'm the Director of Global Communications for Finning International. And Finning is a heavy equipment sales and service provider in Western Canada. We also operate in the UK and Ireland and in South America. So we are Caterpillar equipment dealers. So we provide those heavy pieces of equipment and the service and the product support that goes along with them. So we were a very interesting situation prior to taking on the Beezy platform. We were in a situation where we were very diversely spread out geographically and very siloed, which is very unusual for a global company. And the reason I say that is instead of kind of working as an integrated whole unit, we had intranets in our organization that served each of the regional operating companies. So we had as many as 4 different intranets, one for our corporate groups, the Finning International, which is the mothership company, and then we had 3 operating company intranets in the Finning region in Canada, in the UK and Ireland, and in South America. So as you can imagine, that really created a very dispersed and incongruous experience from an employee experience perspective. There was challenges with search functionality, with outdated material, with the inability to collaborate, with duplication of work. And so as a result of that, we actually embarked on a journey to try to find a new and modern updated option. We went through a process where we looked at 14 different products and finally arrived at the Beezy platform. And one of the reasons we chose Beezy was the socialized nature primarily. This is an example of our homepage of our intranet, which we call Traction, which of course is a nod to the heavy equipment that we sell and service across our 3 regions. And we loved the fact that it was vibrant, that there was opportunity for global interaction, that there was opportunity to not only use the customizable pieces, work together with Beezy to do that, that there was a lot of really great out-of-the-box solution opportunity as well, and that there were really key pieces like mobile access, like the ability to have a true Boolean search and functionality, the ability to have a corporate feed and also have regional feeds, and have people be able to sign on and look at the information content that they want to have in their feed, but also have the ability to push mandatory content to them as well. So what you're seeing here from the very top to the bottom is our top navigation. At the very top here, we'll show you our news carousel. And at the very top, we have on the left-hand side our global news, which is the content that everyone must see. We basically recently put up some information around Pride and some changes we've got going on around technology and COVID. And then on the right-hand side, we have rotating images based on our geographical regions of Canada, UK, Ireland, and South America, whether that has to do with mandatory information or optional information that employees can go and search for. Just below that, we have our timestamp, which is customized to the user. So whatever time zone they happen to be in, whatever region they're in, that updates in real time. In addition to the weather, that is also updated in real time for their region. Our stock ticker, which of course with 85% of our employees and shareholders is always a very interesting topic of discussion. And then we have an option to do alerts. So you see just above the top of the carousel there are, we've got an option there for our Canadian employees, because this is a Canadian screen capture, to go to our COVID-19 resources site. So that's an alert that stays up permanently for all of our Canadian employees and then directs them directly to a COVID resource site for our Canadian employees. We also have an opportunity to do safety alerts. Safety is a big opportunity for us to do outreach with our employees across the organization, and we are able to push live alerts to individuals across the organization as well from a safety perspective. Now, I want to talk a little bit about...
Sorry to interrupt, just to give you a quick 2-minute warning, okay?
Yeah, just wanted to quickly mention how integral this was for us from a COVID-19 perspective. We had launched our intranet at the beginning of January, so just a few weeks before COVID started to hit us hard. And this provided us an immediate, just-in-time essential tool for us to customize content and be able to reach our employees no matter where they happen to be. It was very amazing to see this process happen because of the fact that previously we have had to have relied on email, and sometimes that email would not have been read in terms of volume. We had the opportunity to push directly to mobile devices, so we have an app as well that we use for this, and we've got as many as 75% of our population using Traction at any given time. And right now, about 4 months in, we've got a 40% penetration in using the mobile app for Finning as well for Traction. So I consider that to be pretty good results because we just went through a crisis situation. So totally consider that to be an integral part of our communication channel.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Alicia, for sharing your experience and expertise with the group here.